Today on Core Conversations, we have Joel Crosby. Joel is the owner of Vitality Method Pilates, and today we talked about business ownership, diversity in the community, and how we can help with Pilates. We had a little bit of a debate about the importance of resistance training. We had a conversation about the Authentic Pilates Union, its membership and its benefits, and how accessible it is. Enjoy the conversation.
Well, I'm Joel Crosby, and I'm the owner of the Vitality Method Pilates studio and personal training studio in Duluth, Georgia. And I've been in this space for 15 years now. Been teaching Pilates in the metro Atlanta area for about 20 years now.
Okay.
And just seeing the area, grow and progress through all kinds of waves up and down. And we're still sticking with it and trying to get people as healthy as possible down here in the South.
Amazing. It's resilience, I'm sure, to go through all that we're going through right now too. Were you one of the first Pilates studios in the area?
There've been others. There was one actually here in Duluth years ago, and then she moved to Costa Rica, and so some of her clients came to my place in the metro area and she was actually a classically trained studio. And when she left, we kind of, like I said, took over her clients. In actual Atlanta City,
yes.
There's a number of classical studios there and other studios as well.
Right.
But up here in the burbs, it's one of the first places.
Very cool. And I think it's really cool that you have personal training and you do all kinds of other specialty type training. So because myself as a sport conditioning specialist as well, coming to the Pilates world, I really felt like I want to introduce my world to Pilates, but then I don't want to neglect the weights. I don't want to neglect the sport conditioning side of it. So what made you decide to partner the two?
Well, I started off as a personal trainer back when I was 22 years old, which was
5 years ago?
It was just 5 years ago. Yeah, no, it was almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I always really appreciated that and the benefits you get from that. But then kind of to tell the whole story, what got me into Pilates was, I was always looking for the best ways to help my clients, because even though they were doing resistance training, traditional sports fitness, they were still getting hurt.
Yes.
Overuse injuries, and then when they'd leave the studio still messing their backs up and stuff like that. So I was always looking for functional ways. And then in 1998-99 I did a Pilates class, and I was like, oh my God, these are the exercises I've been looking for my whole life.
Right.
And I was just so upset that I'd never heard of it. And again, that story gets repeated with almost every person that does Pilates.
Yes.
So I loved it, just kept going back, got a mat certification, got a comprehensive certification, and just started working with clients. And then I was like, wow, with this, I can actually make a living, because I can work with such a broad spectrum of people, not just people that, want to push heavy things all the time.
Yes.
Although that is beneficial. So the reason, in this space, I have both is because they're both good. I think sometimes people think, I do Pilates now, so I have to stop doing this other stuff. People ask me, what do you do for fitness? Oh, I just do Pilates. But, if you're a runner, or if you lift weights, keep doing that stuff.
Right.
Do Pilates, and it's going to enhance how you do all of that other stuff and make it so you can do that for many, many more years.
Right.
Because you're incorporating all those principles in Pilates into what you're doing. So, the bone density increases you get from resistance training, maintaining the lean muscle mass, especially as we get older, is super important.
Yes.
So that's why I have both of those here.
And even hormonal release too, right?
All of that. Yes. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so if I can play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah.
If you look at Joseph Pilates in his books, he calls Pilates or Contrology the complete exercise system. So there are people out there who would argue all you need is Pilates. So what's your response to that?
Well, I think it is absolutely a complete system to tune your body, to get your body so it's tuned for anything else that you want to do.
Yes.
or any other activity that you want to do, or anything life throws at you. So it is the complete system to get you ready for anything. To illustrate that, I'm stealing from my mentor, Jay Grimes. It's like if you have a piano that is finely tuned,
yes,
you can play classical music on it, you can play jazz, you can play rock, you can do all kinds of stuff, but the piano has got to be tuned.
yes.
And then the piano doesn't care what type of music you play on it, it's going to respond to what you throw at it.
That's a great
So
analogy.
yeah, it's complete because it makes your body ready for anything else, and it's just going to make you do everything else better.
Yes. That's a pretty good answer.
All right. Well, but I do think it is important.
So
it's
true,
also
man.
complete too, because as you know, it's so important for you to hit every single cell in your body from every angle possible. Right. And a lot of the activities you're going to get into, sports, are going to be repetitive, that same thing over and over again. Lifting weights can be, very, very linear, for example.
Right.
So Pilates, because you work your body in every single spine shape that the human body can do and learn how to stay strong into those spine shapes, your cells are going to respond and make you stronger.
Yes.
So it is complete in that. I mean, if I couldn't do anything else, I would do Pilates all the time. Pilates is my foundation that I do all the time that keeps me able to do everything else, lifting weights, running, martial arts, even yard work.
Yes, exactly. Yes, from daily activity to like most intense exercises. You're exactly it.
And I know that if I was just doing resistance training, which then there's a lot of other activities that I couldn't do very well.
Right.
If it wasn't for my base, my complete system of what Pilates does for me.
Right. So then if you have an athlete coming into your studio, what sport athlete makes you kind of just lick your chops like, okay, this is going to be fun because it's a pitcher and he's unilateral, or he plays basketball, so his hamstrings are going to be super tight. Like, who's your favorite athlete to work with?
I don't know, really I like the variety of athletes. I mean, over the years, we've had pro football players. When Atlanta used to have a hockey team, we had pro hockey players here. We work with a lot of swimmers, Olympic level swimmers, high school swimmers. I like all of them because their sports are so repetitive. They're all going to have interesting little things that we can work with.
Yes. And
that they're going to have discoveries about.
Yeah, no problem. I did actually have a question for you, a little bit more of a technical question. When we're talking about health at the cellular level.
Yeah.
So I have Dr. Jeff Matheson coming on tomorrow, who is, he's a pain management doctor, and he developed a product called Pure Form Omega, which is basically a plant-based omega as opposed to a fish oil. So the higher level conversation beyond pushing a pill, so to speak, is just around being healthy at the cellular level. So it just sounds like, just from what I understand of what you do with the Vitality Method, that's something that you guys talk about on some level.
Yeah, we do. From a nutritional standpoint, absolutely. But also, when I'm trying to, I don't bring all this like technical stuff up when people come in, but over time, if they have questions about it, I do bring it up. Or if I'm talking about the benefits of doing Pilates, I'll bring it up if they ask, but it is so important. In addition to providing your body the raw materials, like a product that your guest is going to have on, super important. But I do believe you have to put pressure and stress on your cells three-dimensionally to tell your DNA that when you reproduce, it's got to be a stronger cell than the last one. And you have to put pressure on that cell for it to have that response. It's like, because every day your body, a healthy body, creates 300 billion new cells every day. So those cells can either be weaker than the last set or stronger. And one of the best ways to make them stronger is a signal of physical stress all around the cells. And that tells the DNA, hey, this is an active body. When I reproduce, I've got to make a stronger cell. And if there's not that stimulus, your body's going to be like, it takes a lot of energy to make a healthy cell, so we're just going to keep making the same ones, or get weaker, and then you start aging fast. So yeah, you have to have that signal on your cells, and movement is the best.
So you're basically like placing an order for a new improved cell.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes a lot of energy, and so if you're not getting that signal, your body's going to be like, why bother? Let's just keep getting weaker and older.
Right. That's interesting, and I think for our audience of Pilates instructors and fitness professionals out there, that's a good conversation to have with our people in layman's terms, basically saying we're challenging your body so that it will regenerate stronger than what it was before.
Absolutely, yes. And that's, Joe echoes that in his book. Again, as we all know, he was way ahead of his time.
Yes.
He even said in his book that doing his exercise is going to create new brain cells. Yes. And for a long time, people are like, you can't create new brain cells. When they die, they die. Well, guess what? Now they're realizing you actually can make new brain cells, but you have to, create stimulus.
Yes.
And pressure, and good stress on your brain, and try to remember new things. And because of those new neuromuscular pathways, your body will actually generate new brain cells. Now it's been proven scientifically what Joe said in his book.
That's amazing. Yeah. And we throw around that term like neuromuscular pathways or neural pathways. I've used this analogy, and tell me if this makes sense to you, Joel. It's like walking through a field. A kid's walking through a field to go to school. And there's a path that's been beaten because everyone's been walking the same path through the field to go to the school. And then one day a child decides to go a different path. So then he's trotting down the grass in that pathway. And then kids start to take that pathway. So then there's two pathways to get to the same place. Yes. So in the same way, that's what happens with our brain when when we stimulate our bodies in different ways. We establish a new pathway through the grass to get somewhere. As a neural pathway. So when I'm working with young people or anyone, I might use that analogy to kind of illustrate to them what's happening in our body when we challenge it in new ways to keep it growing.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic illustration to help people visualize what's happening in your body, in your central nervous system, and in your brain when you're doing new stuff. And doing those, like you said, to just kind of to piggyback on your illustration, to make a new pathway, it takes work. It's not going to happen doing it one time. Walking through that field, you got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Then the grass is going to stay down, and it actually becomes a pathway that you don't even have to think about anymore. It just is there.
Yes.
But it takes the repetition and the discipline to keep doing that, and that's. In the Pilates world, that's why it's like you do these same things over and over again, and that's how you get good, and then those movements become automatic without you even thinking about it.
Yes, right. But I think that, and with the sport background too, you get that, but sometimes as fitness instructors, we feel like we have to impress people with new exercises every time we come in.
Yeah, which is just, I think, silly. I mean, for one, because some people will say, well, you need that variety to keep your body guessing. Well, even in the original order of Joe's exercise, there's so much variety, you are not going to plateau. And if you feel like you're plateauing, go to a different instructor that's going to teach you the original order, but maybe have a different perspective and notice something different. Maybe lengthen a little more on this side. Just a little tweak like that can change everything. So you're never going to plateau. Right. You don't have to worry about that. But if you want to get good at something, I'm saying this really not for clients so much, but for teachers that really want to get good at this practice. You got to do it over again and over again and have the discipline to do it and find joy in doing that. I mean, the illustration I use is like, why is Michael Jordan so amazing? Why was he so amazing? Because he shot baskets over and over and over and over and over again, and he became amazing. And he was crazy disciplined. He worked harder than the others, doing the same thing over and over again, and he was amazing. Right. So, like, if you want to get good, anybody that's good at anything does it over and over and over again. And, that's good training. It helps you not have ADD and stuff. You got to focus. Yes. So it disciplines your mind, disciplines your body. Yes. And then the movements in Pilates, they start to become automatic. And then when you go out in the real world to do anything, you know, a core kicks in right away. You're connected
Yes.
to your back right away. It just happens automatically without thinking of it. But if you keep changing the exercises all the time, you're not going to get that. And your clients aren't going to get it either. If you keep changing the order all the time and, oh, I got to be creative and come up with all this new stuff, your clients are never going to get those patterns.
Yes, and that proficiency and that just having Pilates in their body, right?
Right, exactly. So it takes the discipline. And as an instructor, you just have to come up with that. How can I make this interesting? How can I make them feel it? Because if they feel it, it's not going to get boring. If they're feeling something. But if you're just blabbing all the time and talking all the time and changing stuff, they're not going to make progress. You know, you're holding their hand all the time. So.
There's two comments here. Michael just made one, but I just want to touch on one that came a little bit earlier. Larissa was asking, do you work with cerebral palsy in Pilates?
You know, it's interesting. I actually had a client, only one woman who actually had CP years ago, and yeah, I did work with her, and there was just some things, granted, we couldn't do, but we just figured out a routine. You know, we did some private sessions, figured out a routine. What can she do? You know,
that's the question.
Yeah, we were able to, you know, kind of follow the order. We had to leave some things out, tweak some things, but yeah, she felt amazing afterwards. So you can do it. You just have to, you know, do some regressions in some of the exercises, but it's still super beneficial.
I love that simple saying, what can she do? I mean, we get stuck on what we can't do and what our clients can't do, but when we start to look at it from the lens of what can we do, we get so much further. And then the other part too is what you're saying about regressions. Like, it's such a cheap gift to be able to make exercises harder. Like anyone, like, okay, let's do a clap push-up instead of a regular push-up. But how do we regress things so people can still feel a sense of achievement and accomplishment as they're doing their exercises? So yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. I see Alexa there. Hi, my friend.
Hey, Alexa.
And and Michael, who was on yesterday, said instructors fear the short attention span so prevalent in our world. They fear their clients will get bored.
Right.
Isn't that much like that? That has a lot to do with how we present as instructors. I mean, if I'm opening with, we are doing these same exercises again to see how much deeper you get in today, or to see how proficient we're compared to yesterday, or last week, because our bodies, you may not be bringing the same body to the mat as last week. So like, there's so many different ways to present in a way that you know, staves off that boredom.
Yeah. Well, I think too, as a Pilates instructor, I mean, we have, you know, Joe did all this wonderful work for us. We just got to stick to it. And as we know, you know, Joe, big part of it was working your mind and your body.
Yes.
So as much as people need Pilates in their bodies, they also need the mind part.
Yeah.
So just like if you see somebody coming in and they just don't have a core connection and you're working on that, give them cues for core connection, you have just as much responsibility to now start teaching them how to harness in their attention into their body. It's all part of the same exercise. You can't, you know, so your job as a teacher is how can I train their body, but also train their mind so they have focus.
Yes.
You know, and some teachers, I've, you know, taught many workshops, they're like, yeah, but my clients come in and they're stressed out from the day. So I just want to, you know, do everything for them, tell them what to do. I'm like, you're not, it's the same as the body. Like, okay, so are you going to do the 100 for them? Because their body's tired too. Their body needs it too. The brain also needs that same amount of work. So you have to train them to harness in those thoughts, you know, turn the music off in your studio and let them not be afraid of really observing what's going on inside the body, because that training in the mind is super important. I mean, I tell people Pilates is 50% brain first, then 50% body.
Yes.
You know, I set up that expectation. You are going to be using your brain here. Right. And you're going to be exhausted, but you're going to thank me later, because this is a muscle too. You know, you got to exercise it also. And then when you get this and your body synced up, you're amazing. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Michael was saying that yesterday. He was almost in tears when he started to really make that mind control the body connection. that was just like such a powerful aha moment for him that really hooked him into this Pilates world. And I'm sure that's the same for, I mean, let's be real, for guys, right? Like, I mean, we want to just do a bench press and see progress. And when we go to Pilates and then we recognize how intuitive it is and how there's a different kind of a challenge, it really, like, it just illuminates for us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as making it boring, again, that's where the art of teaching comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, and then each individual is different how you're going to do this, but you have to figure out, how as a teacher, how can I make them feel this stuff? Because I promise you, even though they're doing the same thing over again, and you might be teaching the same thing over again as a teacher, if they feel it, they're not, if they're feeling something, they're not bored.
They're not going to question you, right?
So that's where you as a teacher have to refine your teaching skills.
Yes.
To, you know, because they'll be like, oh, my clients are bored. Well, it's not their fault. They're coming to you. The reason they came in your studio is because they want help.
Yes.
So you've taken on this role as a Pilates teacher to help them. You've got to help their mind, body, and spirit. I mean, that's all. That's part of the Pilates. That's what you read the book, hopefully, that Joe wrote. This is what you signed up for.
Yes.
Help them with all three of those things. You know. So.
Yeah, exactly. The it's invite the brain to the party is as someone said there. And and you know, it's funny, I think of like that Mr. Miyagi quote, like, there are no bad students, just bad teachers.
Yeah, yes.
Right. So that's, you know, that's where we're at with that. I love that. That's really good. So another comment here from Michael. You can delete almost that from the comment. I really am together at that moment. Yes. The
from yesterday, yeah. That's right.
yeah. That's so good. Now, you have made your transition and you are open through this pandemic. And I saw your video where, like, you have such, like, incredible details, from the wiping of the mats to neutralize to you went through. Can you just talk just quickly about, like, how you came through that process and how things are going?
Yeah. Well, you know, first off, one of the advantages we have as Pilates studios, most Pilates studios have a culture of cleaning up the equipment, right?
Yes.
You're out on your own. So it's just expanding that. When we first, before the shutdown happened, when there was social distancing going on, we spaced out all of our reformers. Fortunately, we have enough room to put 6 feet between each reformer. That made clients feel better. Yep. Then we were shut down, mandated, and then when we reopened, I'm like, okay, I really want people to feel safe here. So, I mean, I feel we're a studio that always, even with what we offer as services, is above and beyond what you can get anyplace else. So I wanted to have that same feeling when people come back. When they come in, they're like, oh, I didn't even think of, you know, cleaning my shoes off, which actually is something I probably should have done anyway, even before that, because it's great. So yeah, so we just bump it up. So when people first come in the studio, we have a little shoe sanitation station where I put a solution on it, cleans their shoes, because their shoes are going to go in the, you know, little locker area. Yeah. So I want that to be clean, and we're a barefoot studio. People walk around here barefoot, so I want that clean. Then as soon as they come in, either their instructor gives it to them, or, you know, now they know, they grab their own bottle, their own towel, and that's going to follow them around the studio. So they're going to clean everything and use that same rag that they'll dispose of at the end. And then the instructors also have some bottles around them. They'll follow up in case the client, you know, missed some stuff, just to make sure everything's covered. You know, we tell people, hey, if you have a cold, please don't come. Even if you just say, oh, I think it's just allergies, you know, stay home. Yes. Get on. We'll do an internet session with you. Let's see, what else are we doing here? And in the evening, I have an ozonator machine with a UV light in it, so I run that every night. And then I get here early before everybody else and open up the doors to kind of degas the place, but that sterilizes the air. So we have that, and we're going to try to take it above and beyond. Again, I just want people to feel really comfortable coming in this space. So.
This everyone watching, like, you're setting a high standard for for studios. This is like, wow, if you're not doing that, I wonder if you're really even opening. Like, that's so thorough, man. That's awesome. We need to, I think that's it. Like, you set yourself apart as a business owner when you show that much care for your people. So that's that's it. I mean, Of all the topics I wanted to talk about today, Joel, I just really admire your business acumen. Like you've been in the game for a while, and people who are, young Pilates instructors, students, and they're in this career path of maybe teaching in a big box gym and then teaching, making a percentage working in a studio. There's this massive jump, this chasm from working for somebody to opening your own space. What advice do you have for those who are watching who are thinking about taking that leap?
First, you have to be a little crazy.
Okay.
And then because it's not going to be easy, but I would say you just have to have a real passion for what you want to do for this work, because it's not going to be easy. Pilates is still, because it is so much work, mind and body, not everybody's going to want to do it, So you have to be passionate to help push you through the hard times. Have a pretty good business plan, do your numbers, make sure that based on realistically how much you can make, that your rent is going to be the proper percentage of what you think you can come in. Because I know, like during the Great Recession, it really sucked because my rent was up here, and then numbers dropped.
Income's way down.
So and at that point, my accountant was like, you need to shut down. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So you have to have some passion to push you through those hard times.
Yes.
And then the other thing too is, if you have a space, chances are you're gonna have to have some other instructors you work with, a team, because you can't do it all on your own. And still, if you have a decent sized space, pay your rent, or if you do, you're never going to be able to go on vacation.
Right.
So you want to really work on building a team and just treating your people right.
Yes.
Really caring about them, and make sure that they're passionate about what they do too. I mean, when we were going through the Great Recession, and even now, it was tough. So there were times when, like, hey, I'm sorry guys, the paychecks are going to be a little bit behind.
Yes.
And even though that sucks for everybody, because they're so passionate about what they do and so passionate about keeping this facility open, they're like, okay, we'll endure this, and then eventually everything worked out. So you have to have a great team, and have some servant leadership there. You're there to help them build their business, but also be a leader, especially in a very specialized industry like we have. So
right, yeah, no, that's good, that's helpful. And then Lily mentioned here, I love how our viewers are guiding the conversation. Can you talk about APU, these professional networks that we have?
Yeah, sure. I would love to talk about APU. So the Authentic Pilates Union, it's a totally volunteer organization, nonprofit. And again, our goal is to preserve the authentic work of Joe Pilates. Okay. So not dogging any other organization that's, kind of a Pilates method thing. This is Authentic Pilates.
Yes.
And so some of the reasons to join are, for one, the learning and the networking you can do and the sharing that happens there, but also we try to provide reasonably priced continuing education things. So, for example, people's membership fees don't go to any board members, because we're nonprofits, totally volunteer. It goes into a pool so that once a year we can have a little conference, and everybody can get in for a very reasonable price, but we can pay the instructors a fair price to get them here and
Gotcha.
Pay them for their time, but it's reasonable for everybody. So that's really good. We also will promote you as your facility, and also promote you as an instructor if you maintain continuing education.
Yes.
And it can be from anybody that is a classical instructor.
Okay.
Right. So you don't have to be part of an organization, and that person paying that organization money to be able to give CEU credits and stuff like that. So right. As long as it is Authentic Pilates and on using Authentic Pilates equipment, you can maintain your, we call that Authentic Pilates Union active instructor status, where we promote you. That's only 12 CEUs a year, and you can just show that you went, and we believe you. And and then the other thing too we're doing more recently is we do have like a little health benefit plan, which is really nice for members.
Yeah.
It's like, depending on what you choose, it's $15 a month or $22 a month. And it's not insurance, but it can help supplement insurance if you have it, because you get huge discounts on like dental and eye care and medical.
Yes.
But if you don't have insurance, it still can bring the cost of those out-of-pocket things down. Yes. And we did that because we really want to try to be a union in some ways, and like, like electrical unions have benefits. Of course, they're, you can actually get real insurance through them. But, a lot of Pilates instructors are contractors.
Yeah, right.
So by having this thing available to them, they can at least get, some discounts on some of the essentials, things like that. So we have that available as well. So
I love
some things we like to do.
So I love the accessibility of it, and just the cooperative nature of it is awesome. Really good. So what's next for the APU? Because I've seen,
right now, I would say what's next is, we're trying to build up our board members a little bit, get some new board members on. Also, we had a conference that was supposed to happen this summer, but because everything going on, we had to move it to October. Right now, we're still planning on having it live if we can, but if the numbers are going up and it's crazy, we'll probably do a virtual thing.
Yes.
Like that. So that's what's next on us is, trying to figure out what we're going to do with that conference. The price will still be super reasonable for that. And we just want to try to get members, from every Pilates, background. Even if a person's trained contemporary, but they're classically curious and they're taking some classical certifications or classical continuing ed, and they can show those, they can become a member, and also, we'll promote you as an APU active instructor. So we just want to get more members from all backgrounds and all over the world, because there's might not be able to offer those health benefits, that we can in the States, but as far as members, we have members in other countries now too. I just want to be part of it. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, one of the things I've been saying through this month too, Joel, is within the Pilates universe, quote unquote, there are so many superheroes, right? And a lot of times we, the Joel Crosbys of the world, right? Like these are there's people that we're like, okay, well, they're way up there, and my little lowly studio in the middle of nowhere really doesn't matter. So I love things like this APU, and obviously in this racially tense time too, we want to highlight every instructor for their skill set, not their skin color, or not even their lineage. Like just the fact that they are loving Pilates and loving helping people. There needs to be a gathering place for that.
Yeah, and hopefully, the APU, that was the intention of it when it was founded, and we're just trying to, keep that going and do exactly what you said.
Yeah,
exactly what you said.
Yeah, being here on the Gratz page, we're talking a lot about that with just the representation of Black people, in social media and all these different things. So I didn't want to just have like Black people making this like rah thing. I wanted to shift the gaze towards how do we show up? How do we run our business professionally? Even in this time where we're getting tired, how do we still take care of ourselves so that we can be the best competent teachers that we can be, coaches that we can be, instructors that we can be? And that's why I brought you on. Not that there was pressure to have more Black people, but if people are just out there wondering why you're here, it's because I have a respect for you and for what you're doing, not just as an instructor, but as a business owner. In the same way that I've had people on this week who are amazing coaches, and people, Clara Herman is like a personal development coach. We need to bring everything to the table. And it sounds weird to say it, but I don't want to just hire a tax guy because he's Black. I want to hire a tax guy because he's good. You know what I mean? So I think that when we're getting into this whole conversation about race, I want us to all be competent. I want us to all be good. And I want core conversations to highlight the amazing people out there in the world that are doing awesome work. So.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I would say one thing, I would do is the instructors that I get, all different backgrounds, all different parts of the world, is my job, because we have a teacher training program here too that I do, and is to train them to be the best instructor that they can be, or that they want to reach out to be, and just provide that to them so that they can, whether they work here, I mean, or someplace else, they can represent the work well and be, you know, a Pilates instructor that's head and shoulders above anybody else.
Yes.
And so that's my job. And you know, nice thing, it's been so wonderful to over the years have that diversity here. It's so beautiful. You know, people literally from all different places and backgrounds, training here, working with each other through the teacher training, working with clients of all different backgrounds, and it's really beautiful to see. And I think that's one thing too that can kind of bring us together and realize that, you know, everybody needs this work.
Yes.
You know, everybody needs this work, and so this is something that, regardless of what you do for a living, what your background is, hey, this is the common denominator we all have. We all need this work to help us fight what gravity's doing to our bodies, you know, fight what aging is doing to us, because we all want to be vibrant, you know, and no matter who we are, what our background is, and we all have those same desires and needs. And as a Pilates studio, we have something so valuable to give to everybody.
Yes.
And, so hopefully at my place, I've facilitated that. You know, so.
Yeah, it sounds like that's true to your core to do that. And then that's really the way it should be. It shouldn't even have to be something we have to highlight, because it's just there. You know, and
exactly, it's just there, and it should be just there.
Just there. Yeah, exactly. So that's great. And Alexa, you know, mentioned that too, right? Like, you know, being from Cameroon and just coming into like your space, like it draws people that look like you into that space. And so that diversity is so important, and just to have that openness to allow that to happen is great.
Yeah, that makes me feel really good too. I mean, when someone like Alexa, just, you know, unsolicited on her own, mentioned that about our studio, it's nice.
Yes. You didn't have to pay her to say that?
No, it was serious. Yeah. I'll pay her later.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really nice.
All right. So some closing comments there. Time just flies, eh?
It does. It does.
I do want to take a few moments just to highlight some more things that are happening on the Gratz page and Momentum Fest. And we're doing a bit of a contest. Not a contest, but a draw. So Momentum Fest is coming up this weekend. I had Jessica Valant on earlier this week, and she just talked about just how amazing and inclusive and safe space-ish Momentum Fest is. So we're going to be giving away one registration for that this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to get some people who actually have the time to do it. Like, I don't want to just throw your name in the hat and then be like, oh yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, but I have to go see my aunt this weekend, so I'm not going to go. I want actually people who are going to be who are interested in doing it. And like Maria Earl is doing a roundtable. Leslie Logan is doing a talk as well. We're both in her agency, Minnie. So she's got some stuff going on there too. So for those of you watching, put your name in the hat by simply sending me a comment, just saying like your name, why you want to go, and we'll get you on there. We'll get you in the name, and we're gonna do like a name selection, you know, those spinning like Wheel of Fortune like type things, and have some fun with that later. But Joel, closing comments, any words of wisdom for our people watching on Gratz?
I would say just examine the original work, you know, no matter what I mean, just because I'm passionate about that. So everybody that, you know, if you've done contemporary stuff, that's great, but try to, you know, find out as much as you can about the original work. I mean, you know, there's a lot of times people will say, well, at least people are moving, you know, and that's great, and that's 100% right. And when you get new people in, that's all you want them to do is move, right?
Yes.
But eventually you want to start teaching them Pilates more, because there's a big difference between moving and Pilates.
Yes.
It's just like, whaling on a heavy bag is good for you, but that's really different from actually boxing. Or Muay Thai,
Yes.
so learn, try to get with some people that also are passionate about preserving Joe's original work and learn from them. It's just going to enhance things. And, you can join the APU to, find out a network of people to do that with.
Yes.
If anything I said as far as like, teaching skills and working on that art of teaching appeals to you, I'm doing a workshop Friday, July 3rd with Vintage Pilates on that, how to pique your client's interest and keep your client's interest, and go from being a teacher to a coach, with people. So talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's it. Just try to develop that art of teaching, because what we have to offer as Pilates instructors is extremely valuable for people mentally, physically, and I think even now. In fact, I was going to ask you this question.
Yes.
It's totally unscientific, but from all the people all over the world that I have talked to, and I know you talk to people all over the world as well too, I haven't come across any Pilates instructor that has gotten COVID. Have you?
Nope.
All right. I know this is totally unscientific theory, but I think it proves even more that what we have to offer is so valuable. I mean, I don't know. The proof is in the pudding, right? As they say. So anyway, keep doing the best you can to market yourself. Try to ride the tide of this this stressful time we're going through, because you have something super valuable to give people and benefit people. So.
Absolutely. Joel, thank you so much. You got some more comments here. Lily's saying you are awesome. Pilates Warriors just commending your theory. Great conversation. Thank you, everyone.
And Martin, one thing too I want to say too is I really, really appreciate what you do. Your show is amazing. Your warmth and caring personality, it really comes out in all the interviews you do. So I appreciate what you're doing, man, a lot. So thank you.
I appreciate it. It really touched me when you said you were binge watching though. I was like, nice.
Yeah, I know you have so much content, man. It's gonna take me forever to get caught up.
Yeah, it's so good, man. Awesome, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope to meet you in person sometime soon.
Yes, exactly. We will. All right. Take care. We'll sign you off here.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Core Conversations. This organic platform has been made possible by amazing people like yourself. So if you're a Pilates instructor or a movement specialist of some kind and you want to be a guest, please message me. If you're in some other field and the messages just resonate with you, message me. I'd love to have you on. All of our messages connect, and for some reason they all help us in this battle. We're all in this game together, so I'd love to hear from you. Let your words be life to someone else. Check out our website, personalvictory.ca. Click the Core Conversations page to see who our upcoming guests are, and I will see you next time on Core Conversations.